Today we are speaking with Chris Koechner. I'm really excited to get to hear about Chris. Not only is he in the med or the health careers field, but he is talking about buying a practice, and so he can talk to us kind of about the business side of that. And so, Chris, we just love to start with you sharing a little bit about your high school experience.
Yeah, so just all 4 years at Marion High School. I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart, so Katie's over here in St. Louis with me. But yeah, in high school, I was actually I was watching Adam and Allison's interview the other day, and I'm totally with Adam. I would do it all over again for sure. I loved high school, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. But in high school, I was trying to be involved as much as I could. I did golf, I did basketball for the first couple of years, and then tried to concentrate on golf after that.
Mhm.
And then did student council, obviously FBLA, did a couple of positions in FBLA.
Mhm.
And then let's see what else, Spanish club, and just kind of your smaller clubs like that. Really just honestly wherever our friend group decided to go is kind of where I was going.
There's nothing wrong with that. I was thinking, Chris, about FBLA, and your group of FBLA members were very, very active, and you were the first group that I took to California.
Yeah, that was like
And
awesome. Yeah, that
that
was a great
was a
memory.
fun trip. And then I remembered the crazy story. Chris, we were having to do public transportation because we decided we want to go out to Huntington Beach for the day.
Hmm.
Long day. We were waiting like just in Los Angeles for a different bus, and we were like, are they going to pick us up or not? We get back to the hotel, and Chris's bag was left on the bus.
Oh man, that was terrible. I
But
honestly forgot about that.
like, we recovered it. We
Yeah,
called the bus company. Someone brought your bag. It had everyone's wallets in it. Well, not everyone's, but probably
yeah.
3 or 4 guys'
It was
wallets.
like me. I think it was me, Caleb, Nick, and somebody else's. It was not good. I felt
Yeah,
so
it
bad.
was everyone's IDs to fly home, everything
It
in
would
that
not have been
bag.
good. Yep.
And I remember, I don't care what they say about no prayer in public school, I was praying that
I
we got
was
that.
too. Yeah. That was
And we
that was a bad
did,
situation.
without a doubt, a
But it worked
miracle
out.
as far as I'm concerned. Someone kind enough to return that bag, unbelievable.
I know. Yeah, I agree. With
So
them,
that
all the
was
money was there too, which was even more surprising.
so anyway, I just had to share that because it's one of those things that, when you're traveling, things just happen. They do.
Yeah, for sure.
Just unbelievable that we got it back. Like
I know.
it was great. So anyway, so that was a fabulous trip we took that summer out to Anaheim,
Yeah.
and you guys were a great group of students. We had a really good time. And
Yeah.
so from there, from high school, would you mind to just share a little bit about your career path with us?
Yeah, so in high school, I mean, obviously I was involved with FBLA, so I had interest in business. And really, I didn't know where I wanted to take my career at that point. I was really just kind of keeping the options open. I really loved the sciences, so in high school, I took all the AP Chem, Bio, and all that stuff, which I highly recommend to students if they're thinking about doing that kind of thing. But so when I got to college, I was thinking I wanted to do healthcare, but I wasn't sure. So I started out like the pre-med, pre-dental, pre-optometry track where you take all the classes that are like requirements to get in.
Mhm.
So I did that, ended up loving science, like just stuck with it. And honestly, on top of that, Hudge, like I missed business as I got in further. So then I took a accounting 1 and 2 class
Oh,
while
look
I
at
was
that.
there. I know, right? And then ended up taking like a real estate class and just stuff that I thought would help me kind of be successful, just overall classes that would help me be successful in life, just because, I
Sure.
mean, that stuff touches everything.
Hmm.
So did that. And then so towards the end of college, I didn't know what I wanted to do pre-med. I was kind of pre-med, bounced between pre-med and pre-dental, and then decided on dental just because, honestly, of the business aspect and because it's more autonomous. You can really dictate your own future, like with owning your own business and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
um, decided on dentistry, took the DAT, was fortunate enough to get into SIU, and then went up to SIU for dental school, and then just kind of grinded it out there. That was 4 years that I wasn't really on the planet. And after that, ended up doing a residency out in Louisville, Kentucky. So I did a 1-year residency there. And then ended up coming back to St. Louis. Me and Katie just loved the St. Louis area so much we wanted to come back. So
And you and Katie, as you mentioned, are married now. I would love to
yeah,
talk to Katie too. We'll talk about that after the interview. But
yeah, for
uh,
sure. I told her she should get on, but she's like, I'm not business. So I was like, okay, whatever.
yeah, no, it doesn't matter. I'm getting to just catch up with everybody, so it's really
Yeah.
nice. Um, so yeah, you guys ended up back in the St. Louis area, and you are now in the process of having your own practice. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I really didn't think I would want to own a practice as soon as I've kind of made my trajectory now. Usually the way it works is you work for 5 years maybe, and then kind of try to get in with somebody that you can buy their practice, or just go out and try to buy a practice or start up your own from there. And really, I've learned a lot in the past like year or two about um, you know ways of doing that and ways to figure out best financial, taking out a big loan. I mean, there's just so much business stuff that you have to learn. I mean, you're a small business owner first whenever you're a dentist, honestly, that owns a practice. So
Sure.
honestly, I just been listening to a lot of podcasts and trying to figure stuff out, and wishing I took more classes in college other than just like accounting and real estate. So
You probably didn't have a lot of time.
yeah, and you don't, and that's what stinks, because in dental school they don't teach you any business. It's all
That's a good
all
point.
yeah, it's all anatomy, all just how to be a good dentist, and then you get out and you have no business acumen at all. I was lucky enough to come from a background, obviously at school where I think I took every class you taught, Hudge. I mean, investments, marketing, and then and it's funny because I was thinking about like things I was like trying to think back on like what I could relate to, what I'm doing now. And honestly, some of the skills I picked up whenever we were selling those ads and stuff with FBLA, I really think that has helped me, be a good communicator with people, and figure out how to kind of see what people want and then get them to do what I want almost, kind of like be
That's
a good
that's
influencer.
good to hear. That's very
Yeah.
good to hear. I think it is interesting because not just in healthcare, but a lot of professions, somebody goes into something that they're passionate about, uh,
Hmm.
but the world revolves around money. Like
Yeah.
that, you make your living, hopefully doing what you love, but somebody has to take care of making sure the bills are paid,
Yeah.
making sure people are paying you,
Yeah.
making sure your employees are being paid, and those nuts and bolts. Um, Even though you can hire someone, and you will hire someone to do a lot of that, I always tell my students it's important to understand what they're doing with your money.
Yeah.
To be able to ask intelligent questions, to be able to look at a profit and loss statement and understand what's going on with your practice.
Yeah, and dentistry is such a specialized like field that there's few people that can come in and literally run the business for you. So you really, I mean, I'd say 90 something percent of dentists do a lot of that all by themselves. I mean, they're their office manager, they're their own office manager, and everything else. You have people doing certain things kind of go different ways with you know obviously you can't do everything, but a lot of guys, it's a small business. And you only have 5 to 10 employees usually, so um, there's not a lot of room in the budget to hire a lot of good people like that, because those kind of people are expensive, obviously.
Sure. And then you also have the whole side of billing insurance
Oh yeah,
and dealing with those kind of compliance things, I would say.
yeah. It's so complicated. I don't under. I've been practicing for a couple of years and I have no idea, honestly, how it works. It's crazy.
So the practice that you are going to acquire is one that's already existing, right? And so is that
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
work? I mean, you don't have to obviously get into financial details, but kind of,
Yeah.
if you wouldn't mind to kind of share with my students, like how that works. Are you going to like phase in over time? How does that come about?
Yeah. So whenever I was looking, I'll start kind of from the beginning. Whenever I was looking for a practice, I kind of went into interviews and stuff like that. Guys who were looking for somebody to come in, I'd say I'm looking for a long-term fit. I'm looking for something that I can buy eventually,
Hmm.
just because I feel like and this, everybody's gonna have different opinions on this, but some people would rather go work for like a corporation, like a big, like a, an Aspen Dental or a Heartland Dental
Mhm.
or something like that, where you are just an employee and you're just, you just clock in, clock out, and that's it.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm kind of more of, I want to get in somewhere where I know that I like the practice and I like the financials are good and everything, and I can work to buy it. That way I'm not wasting my time anywhere else. So
Mhm.
I was really upfront with this guy about it. It's kind of a weird situation. He's only 48, but he hurt his hand not too long ago, so he can't
And that's
practice anymore.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a weird situation, but it's worked out really well for me, and I hope it works out well for him too.
Mhm.
But this whole coronavirus thing has kind of thrown a big wrench in kind of our plans and stuff. So
Yeah,
everything's kind of paused right now for me.
sure. So is your office seeing patients at all right now, or are you like just emergency only, or how is that
Just
working?
emergency only. So really, I'm only going in one day a week for 3 to 4 hours, just seeing pain and swelling and stuff like that, just getting people out of pain and swelling. And
Yeah,
but yeah, nothing elective right now. Which for dental, obviously, that's how we make money is cosmetics and just your regular cleanings and fillings and stuff like that.
sure.
So
Yeah, well, I'm sure once things open back up, you will be backlogged for a while, kind of catching up with everything.
yeah, it's gonna be crazy, but
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. It'd be good. I'm too
yeah.
bored right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. Everyone's gonna have the best looking lawns they've ever had this year, you
Oh
know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we actually just bought our house not too long ago, and it's funny how like I'm mowing the lawn almost like every 3 days right now. Just
Yep, that's suburbia. You got it.
yeah, pretty much.
So when you're not limited like this to see patients, what is a typical day like in your profession? What would you normally, or a typical week, whatever's the best way for you to kind of share what you would normally do?
Yeah, so first thing I go into the office and I'll pull up. Usually, if it's like a Monday, I'll pull up last week's financials and just make sure that everything's kind of lined up because everything can. We have three doctors at our office. The owner who really doesn't practice a lot, and there's another associate there with me, and she, things can get put under her name or my name, and just got to make sure that basically I'm getting paid the way I should be getting paid.
Mhm.
Um, and then after that, so if it's a Monday, I'll check that, and then I'll look over to the day's patients, go over medical history, stuff like that, and then we just get going and start seeing patients, from there. Um, I'm sure a lot of people aren't interested in like the dentistry aspect of things, so I'll skip over that. But then after that, the day's over, I'll kind of do another double check over kind of just like how the ledger looks, everything, making sure everything goes in right. Um, and then that's it, honestly. And then a lot of times, with healthcare, you're like I guess anything else, you're always studying. So I'll go home and I'll do like a couple continuing educations or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, and then try to alternate that with Netflix and be good to go. So yeah.
So it goes without saying, obviously, yes, you have to keep up with the technical knowledge
Mhm.
and skills required. But what are some of those soft skills that you use regularly? I have a feeling the art of small talk
Oh, it's huge.
probably pretty important for you.
Yeah, and I love that, Hutch. So I, and that was one thing that whenever I interviewed for dental school, that was like one of my big like things I put in my, personal statement and stuff is, I feel like I have developed, a good amount of emotional intelligence to figure out how people are feeling and, how to make them feel comfortable in certain situations. And
Mhm.
obviously in a dental chair, it's not the most comfortable place to be. So the soft
Sure.
skills are huge. A lot of dentists make a joke of you can be the best dentist in the world and be the poorest dentist if you're not good at talking to people, and you can be the worst dentist and be you know easy to talk to and all that, and people still come to you.
Yeah.
So
So
just people like to feel like a friend.
putting people's mind at ease, I'm sure, is very important.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I feel like that's just I've always had a good group of people around me that, you know, were easy to talk to and all that. And I feel like somehow I don't know where it stems from, but I guess it's just a combination of things. You know, putting yourself in situations where you have to make small talk and stuff like that can really build that up. And I feel like I've got it down pretty good, but you can always be better. I mean, I'm always looking at stuff to, reading and try to be better at, being able to make people feel comfortable and talking to them about treatment and stuff like that.
Well, and that's another thing I was going to mention or ask you about. Like, not only do you have to make the small talk, but then we've talked about this even with the accountants and attorneys. You still have to explain technical things to
Mm,
someone in a way that they can understand. Because,
yeah,
like, I know nothing about biology, and if you're trying
yeah,
to explain to me what's going on with a nerve in my tooth, or what,
yeah,
I don't even know. See, I
yeah,
don't even know the terms to use, but
yeah,
you have to explain that in a way that I can understand it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it's funny how you're a teacher. I feel like I'm a teacher like 50% of the time, just because like when anything, like when you're learning like what a stock is for the first time, you got to
sure,
dumb it down to basics, So
absolutely, absolutely. Um, and what about little kids? I know you probably can't tell any stories, but like little kids, is that one, like, does it make you sweat when a little kid comes in and you're like, oh, is this going to go well? Or are they going to fight me, or what's going to
yeah, I feel like I do pretty well with the kids, but I've had a couple where I'm sweating and they're screaming, and I had one actually not too long ago where we were taking a tooth out on a little kid who had just, yeah, but
yeah.
it's so that's always tough, but
Oh, yeah, that would
comes
be.
with a job.
Yeah, that would make me sweat too. I can imagine. That's why I'm up here at the high school with the big kids. The little kids
That's
make
right.
me
Yeah.
really
Well,
nervous.
they're honestly the big kids are almost more whiny than the little kids sometimes, So it's always
Okay,
it's
I
like,
can believe that.
yeah, I don't yeah, it's always like I feel like the 14-year-old boys or 13-year-old boys, they're always the most whiny. I don't know why.
There you go. Well, it's that age. I think it
Yeah,
really is. It's
I
something.
know I was.
So, if you were here at school and my students were here, what are the things that you think would be important for them to know, or something you wish you would have known, when you were sitting in my classroom back in the day?
It's hard for me to say. I honestly, Hutch, I really don't have a lot of regret about high school and stuff. I feel like I don't have anything that I say I wish somebody would have told me that. But I will say that I think the most important thing that I had in high school was surrounding yourself with people that make you better. And whoever said like you're an average of the five people you surround yourself with. I think that's really true. I mean, I feel like we had a good group of people around us
You did.
that we really pushed each other, and I really appreciated that. And I was lucky enough to find that in college and then in dental school, and I've always surrounded myself with good people, and it's really helped me accelerate my career. To be honest with you.
I think that is very good advice. And it is true even in high school. Like, you can surround yourself with people that challenge you and cheer you on and want to see you do your very best, or you can
Yeah,
surround yourself with people that really don't motivate you in any way or
yeah,
don't bring out the best in you.
and
And that's
honestly,
true for a
yeah.
50-year-old woman too. That's
Oh
good
yeah,
advice.
yeah, for sure. And I think high school is the toughest time to do that because you're still kind of figuring out like who you are, what you want to do, and I
Mhm.
feel like when I was in high school, I didn't really have a like an idea of who I really wanted to be. So um, although I'm getting back to the hair with how long my hair is getting back to the high school mop, so
It
I feel like
looks good.
I feel like I'm reverting back now. I haven't been able to get a haircut, but yeah, no, I that time in high school was really important, and you know like back then, Felipe, if I wouldn't have been friends with him, he pushed me to do like AP chemistry and AP biology and stuff like that. And then I was, being with Cav, he kind of was like, dude, we should take this class with Hudge, like marketing and stuff. Like, back then we were like, we can get out of class and go to lunch and sell ads. That's awesome. But, you know, obviously there was a lot of other things.
Same, still the same.
Yeah.
It gets more challenging every year.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
We come up with new projects every year.
Really? That's awesome. No, those are
Yeah,
some of
you
the best
you
services.
definitely have a good group of friends. And when I talked to Felipe, your name was the first name that he mentioned. Like, hey, have you talked to Koechner yet? And I
Yeah.
said, no, but I'm going to.
He's doing really well for himself. I'm sure you talked
Yes,
to him, did his interview, but yeah.
yes. Well, it was really good to catch up with you today, Chris, and
Thanks, Hutch.
make sure and tell Katie that I missed her, and I should have just included her in on this.
No,
But
yeah,
I'll try to catch up with her too.
I
So,
will for sure.
all right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Hutch. See ya.
See ya.